I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank, they see the number. All of my haters feel one of two ways, really upset or they show some respect. I can't even think about it, I've been up, so read about it, no beat around it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it, we'll never see it when I kick my feet up. 100 meters where I run the fee up, and go ka-ching and nana mana pia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay defeated, and put it back into the bit, cause I don't really need it. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I had to put all their egos in check. You're not entitled to anything else. I get 10 years of this under my belt. Your art is an art, they don't feel it, and nobody hears it. Initiative stay on the shelf. Your ego done got in the way. It gotta die today. It gotta go. You should be happy I lighten the load. The weight of your arrogance, heavy as stone. I make an appearance, they already know. That chip on your shoulder gon' crumble and fold, yeah. It's not a secret that you have been fearing the shit that I'm on, so you back to the brag and the boast. But I'm in a class of my own. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles Fake Out live stream YouTube premiere thing. I don't know what to call this, guys, but as you guys know, I am going to be traveling today. So if you're watching this right now, I am probably on a road trip to go meet my nephew. But guys, I could not leave the CandleMafia in the dark, so I wanted to do this quick little YouTube fake out premiere. And guys, I guess we're going to have to roll the giveaways into next week. So next week, we're going to wind up doing a pretty big giveaway. But thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in and watching this fake out live stream. I mean, I'm trying to trick everybody, and you guys still showed up. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you for watching. And guys, Bitcoin has just been basically flatlined here, just completely dead in the water. Sitting here, I just want to sit here and poke this thing with a stick, like, hey, Bitcoin. Are you going to do something? Wake up. But as you know, as I always say, guys, when Bitcoin decides to take a nap and go sideways, sometimes you want to let her sleep, because if you wake her up from her nap, sometimes she gets cranky and she dumps. Or sometimes she rips to the upside. But I want to give you guys the key levels to the downside and the upside. I want to give you my general sentiment on Bitcoin right now, as it is completely asleep. But guys, one thing that is not asleep is Shiba Inu. And you might be thinking to yourself, like, Frankie, you never talk about SHIB. Why do you bring it up now? And the reason I bring it up now is because, as you guys know, they have been in the news lately. Maybe I'll bring up the article here in a second. But as you guys know, SHIB is about to be launched, and a lot of people are have high anticipation or high hopes for this release. And it's a layer 2 scaling solution, but a lot of people, obviously SHIB has been pumping lately, and it is breaking a very, very key level with money flow looking cocked, locked, and loaded, ready for upside. So I want to go ahead and do some TA on SHIB for you guys, as Bitcoin and Ethereum are basically asleep. But you guys know when the parents go to sleep, the dogs come out to play. I don't know. Anyway, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead. Don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get on today's live stream, by the time we get back on Monday or Tuesday, whatever amount of likes we have on here, every 100 likes that we have on the video, I will put a spin on the wheel, which will result in more giveaways for you guys. So smash that like button if you have not already. And let's go ahead and jump into the charts real quick. Shout out to Dave Digital, Creighton C, Jessica, our female CandleMafia representative. Shout out to Crypto Billy, Crypto Anon, Rob the Crypto Snob, Tyler Durden, D-Petty, Crypto Chemistry Bro. You guys know the mods. Show them some love in chat. Obviously, I can't actually see you guys, but shout out to you guys. I appreciate everybody for watching. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Here we go. So, guys, here we are on Bitcoin. Basically sitting right where we left it yesterday. Now, there are some things that I want to talk about today that could indicate some price action over the weekend. But what we're going to do is here, we're going to go ahead and start on the higher time frames. Now, as you guys know, we will be printing a new weekly candle in about 2 days and 3 hours, which is going to be somewhat of an important weekly candle print, just because this VWAP is starting to work its way to the upside towards that zero line, looking for a potential green dot. Now, if we do get that green dot on the weekly, I'll be honest, guys, I don't think it's going to be likely to print on Sunday. But if we don't print it on Sunday, I do think as long as we don't get a rejection at that zero line, we will wind up seeing this print in the next week or so, meaning not on Sunday, but next Sunday if it's not this Sunday. But once we print that green dot, guys, remember we have our money flow here on the weekly, which was a little concerning, not too long ago as we were curving out here. However, our money flow is now coming back up on the weekly, which would be somewhat of a good sign in the longer term, right? Could indicate that this trend may continue to the upside, but let's work our way down these time frames. 6-day VWAP starting to get a little bit of a rejection there. Money flow also generally coming out there. Your 5-day VWAP looking like it wants to reject, but your money flow is coming back up. Kind of hard to really take anything away from this time frame. Take a look at the 4-day, looking for that green dot. Money flow trying to curve up there. Your 3-day trigger wave is absolutely insane, and we are starting to get that money flow crossover that we've been looking for all week, guys. As we saw this money flow starting to skirt back to the upside. It is now crossing into the green. And one thing to realize here as well, guys, we have to be careful that this may be a fake out into the green before coming back down into a bigger red wave. But this trigger wave would be somewhat bullish, especially because this wave down here almost got below your oversold line at about -60, right? You kind of have these two oversold lines between -50 and -60. But, you have your anchor here, and then that could be a nasty trigger wave. And a lot of times when you print those trigger waves very close to the zero line, it can result in a very big move up. But again, a little bit of a mixed signal here because, we have already spent a lot of time in the green here, and we have to be ready for this to potentially be a fake out into the green before coming back into the red. But that trigger wave does look somewhat nice. Now, as we work down to the lower time frames, guys, this is kind of where things don't look as good. And again, one thing you want to remember about these higher time frames is this looks good as of right now, guys, right? Like, this looks good as of now. Like, if you're assuming everything's all, butterflies and rainbows, hey, Sunday's going to come. We're going to print that weekly candle, and that VWAP's just going to skirt back up to the upside, looking for a green dot. But if we wind up getting a dump over the weekend, guys, this could easily get rejected, right? So there's no, guaranteed signal here. Now, the money flow coming up is somewhat of a decent sign, but you have to remember, this could come back down as well. So it is kind of like murky waters right now. However, as we get down to the lower time frames, it gets a little bit, I should say somewhat clearer. But this is kind of, from the 2-day on, this is kind of where things don't look as good. You have your VWAP on the 2-day rolling back to the downside, guys, and this money flow does not want to come back up, guys. We've been looking at this all week with our money flow coming out on the 2-day, but it is coming up on the 3-day, right? That is one of the reasons why I'm being very careful with this money flow crossover, because that 2-day money flow will not round off and it just continues to dump straight to the downside. I am going to be careful that this could be a fake out into the green and then we could come back into a big red wave, right? So this is kind of why I'm being careful of this being a fake out. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. 2-day money flow still looking pretty bad, especially because our 2-day VWAP is coming down. In 1 day and 3 hours, we will print another candle here, and if you get that red dot, this money flow is unlikely to just start skirting to the upside, right? So you kind of have the bearish money flow on the 2-day on top of the VWAP kind of rolling over on top of it to add that downward pressure onto, the 2-day. Some nasty thunder out there today, guys, which is weird because I was just outside and it's very hot and sunny. But taking a look at the daily here, guys. Now, this is kind of, I'm going to give you the bearish case here, right? And then I'll kind of talk about the levels and what I would expect price to do in the short term. But keeping an eye on this daily VWAP, guys, coming down to the 0 line. Now, the reason this does worry me a little bit, typical daily red dot, typically, not really anything to be that alarmed about. Obviously, it does give us downside most of the time. Not super bearish signal, but the reason why I am concerned about this is because when we print this red dot, guys, if we come on down to the 90-minute, you can see here, money flow generally coming out on the 90-minute. This would be somewhat bearish because a lot of times on these time frames between, the 1, 2, and the 1 hour, the 2 hour, and the 90-minute, when this money flow starts to come out and you get those crossovers into the red while your daily's printing a red dot, sometimes it can give you a big move. So this is something I'm watching. But again, this is really not that good. This is not that good looking. And then once we get down to some of the lower time frames, I do think locally we could get somewhat of a bounce. But again, it takes time for that daily. It's going to take time for that daily red dot to print. And it's going to take time for that money flow to cross over. And then we could have time to come up in the, in between that actually happening. But just this money flow coming out with our daily red dot is just naturally a bad look for me. Guys, when I hit the charts and I look at the daily and I see that it's about to print a red dot, here's a little bit of sauce for you guys. It kind of give you insight into what goes on in my brain when I actually look at the charts. I'll take a look at something like the daily. I see that VWAP coming down towards the 0 line like we see right here. First thing in my head is, okay, if this prints a red dot, it's likely going to give us some kind of downside, but I can kind of gauge how severe that downside will be by analyzing the kind of environment on the lower time frames as far as money flow goes, right? So if I have that 90-minute money flow coming out, trending down, that would indicate to me that that red dot may have a little bit of rocket fuel on it. And I don't know if I should say rocket fuel. Rocket fuel usually brings you up. But maybe it's got a little lead that'll help price sink if you have that money flow coming out on your lower time frames. And the 90-minute is definitely coming out. Your 2 hour also generally coming out here. And then you come down to your one hour money flow is in the red. So that is the one thing that's a little bit concerning to me here. But again, we have to wait for that red dot to print, right? Now, more locally, and this is more, in the short term, probably why you're tuning into this live stream live. But what is price going to do in the short term? Now, if you guys watched the show at any point last week, obviously not too much has happened. So I will pull this local range. As you guys know, we were looking for a potential acceptance below this value area high to potentially bring us down to the POC or the value area low, where we would be looking for some potential bounces, right? Now, it's not just the POC and the value area low, but if you grab your Fibonacci retracement levels, or retracement tool, I should say, and you pull from your low all the way up to the high here, we actually do have pretty nice confluence, and we talked about this the other day, so this might seem familiar, but between your POC and your golden pocket, you do have some nice confluence there, as well as your value area low 786. So I will be looking for either a bounce off of this level, or I really would prefer, to be honest, just with the way I trade, I talk about this all the time, I do not really like to take trades in the middle of a range. I would much rather wait to come down to the low of the range for a long, or come up to the high of the range for a short, right? So I would prefer to see a move down to the value area low 786, but there's no guarantee that we make it down there. So one thing that I am looking at here, guys, is we are starting to put a little bit of a bullish divergence here. We are printing a green dot on the 2-hour. Slight, very, very slight bullish divergence here on the 2-hour. One thing to realize about this, though, guys, is number one, it is not the strongest angle. Number two, it's not confirmed. And number three, it will confirm in about 5 minutes, so we'll find out here in a sec. But number three, this is not looking like this on every exchange, right? We right now are looking at the Bitstamp chart. If we come up to the Bybit chart, you can see that there indeed is no bullish divergence. We have lower lows on our momentum waves. That's the opposite of what we want for a bearish bullish divergence. So keep that in mind. So like the mixed signals really are out here, guys, right now. So and a lot of times that does wind up turning into more consolidation and ugly sideways price action. So just keep that in mind. But this 2-hour green dot could bring us up just alone, right, without the divergence. So, but again, money flow coming out on the 2-hour. I would really be careful with that daily red dot and all this money flow coming out. But here we go. If we come down to the lower time frames, we have a little bit more clear divergences here, clear lower lows on your price action here into your golden pocket, right? This was the level we were looking at yesterday, and you did get your higher lows here on your momentum waves. I'll actually move this line because it's not technically back there. So lower lows on your price, higher lows on your momentum waves, and we are starting to get a bounce. And now this is popping up not only on the 24-minute, but we are also getting it on the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the 12-minute, and a lot of these lower time frames, right? And your 15-minute money flow is in the green. So I do think this could potentially give us a little bit of a continued trend to the upside. And it's not just the divergences. It's not just the money flow in the green. But it's also, you can see here, our 4-hour is probably going to be looking to print a green dot at some point soon. We got a little bit of a rejection from the 0 line, and now we are skirting right back up looking to print a green dot. So in the short term, guys, again, I do think the price action on Bitcoin may continue to look a little bit, it's a bit of a snooze fest, right? Just might be a little bit more ugly, just consolidation, bing-bonging up and down in the ranges. But I will say in the short term, I will look for somewhat of a move to the upside based off of that green dot. So once that prints, that's where I would kind of expect a local move to the upside. But even if we get a decent move here, you have to understand that daily VWAP is coming down, right? So you kind of got that weight hanging on your shoulders. So kind of my general sentiment here on Bitcoin, guys, remains the same. Looking for the bounce here. If we get another dump down, I will look for a bounce at the value area low 786 coming in at about $29,000 even. You also have that psychological level of that nice even 29K helping you out there. And then once that green dot prints on the 4-hour in the short term, I do think we can get a move up. But eventually, I do think we will roll over with that red dot on the daily and the money flow coming out on the lower time frames. And by lower time frames, I mean the 1, 2, and 3-hour. Just generally, right? So I do think local move up isn't unlikely, but again, with the money flow coming out on these medium hourly time frames, I do think I would have to maybe put a little bit more pressure on, or a little bit more emphasis on the bearish case here, just because of those, just because of that daily with the 90-minute, daily red dot with the 90-minute money flow crossover. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on Bitcoin, guys. Not too much has changed here. So what I want to do here is I will pull up Ethereum very, very quickly. Show ETH. I'm just kidding. I'm not wearing the Show ETH t-shirt, guys. But I will take a look at ETH. As you guys know, as we were looking at this yesterday, we were not expecting anything crazy to happen until we broke below this blue box or above this purple box. Until we break these levels, we are just looking to respect the value area high, come back to the low, respect the low, maybe deviate a little bit, come back to the high. But my sentiment here remains exactly the same as well. We don't break above this purple box, I am not expecting too much upside for Ethereum. And until we break this blue box, I am not expecting too much downside. Until we break these levels, I would expect some consolidation. And then just looking at the indicators here, same thing, right? VWAP rolling over on the daily, that is somewhat more bearish. But yeah, not looking good. 2-day money flow also coming out into the red here. Not the best look, but looking very similar to Bitcoin. However, guys, when we go ahead and move on over to SHIB, as you know, Shibarium, as they say, is like I think it's supposed to be released in the next few days here, and a lot of people, obviously, we have been on a bit of a move here in anticipation of the release. But if you go ahead, what I'm looking at here, right? Like we talk about, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news, and it's kind of the same situation here, right? Sure, we got some bullish news on SHIB. However, if you pull your volume profile here, you can see we have cracked a very key level of resistance, which is your value area low sitting right here at about however many zeros, 908. I will refer to these prices, ignoring the zeros moving forward and just saying the numbers at the end. But you can see we cracked the value area low at whatever 908, and this is a pretty good sign, guys, for more than one reason. Not only have we broken above this macro value area low, which could potentially open up the doors to come up to your POC and your value area high, but also on top of that, guys, and we talk about this all the time, when price breaks below your value area, let me spawn the levels here. When price breaks below your value area low, you look for a potential re-acceptance into the range. You can think of breaking below that value area low as oversold, and you are expecting price to get sucked back up towards that magnet, which is the POC. And you can see that happening right now. We have cracked over the value area low, not value area high. We have flipped it to support, and we are now working our way up towards that POC. So level number one, price target number one for SHIB, if we do see a continued pump on this thing, would be however many zeros, 1199. Oh, there we go. Got a little bit of a signal here on TradingView or an alert. But that would be the next target coming up to that POC. Now, one thing I would, and I'm going to talk about the second reason why I am actually looking for some bullish price action on SHIB. We'll get to that in a second, but you do want to understand, guys, a lot of times when you get news like this, it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news, or a buy the news, sell the event type thing. So you have to realize that, people who are buying down here are eventually going to take profit. But if we do wind up, the reason I do think we can continue to pump here is not just because of the bullish news, guys. It's because of the way the chart looks. Now, I will start with this. I don't know if you're going to immediately continue ripping up here, and the reason for that is because you actually have some bearish signs popping up here in the short term. Looking at some of these higher hourly time frames, you are starting to put some bearish divergences in with your higher highs on your price, lower highs on your momentum waves. This is on the 6 hour. You can even come up to the 10 hour and see this happening as well. VWAP starting to roll back to the downside. So once that red dot prints, you are likely to get a cool off there. Obviously, you have to wait for that red dot to print. You don't want to make any decisions based off of a signal that is not printing yet. But you are starting to get momentum coming down with price coming up on a lot of these time frames, such as the 5 hour. Even the 4 hour here is looking to potentially print a bear div very, very soon. And money flow is pretty thick in the green, which would be a little bit more bullish. Like, here you go, right? Is this a legitimate, very slight bearish divergence here, printing currently on the 2 hour, right? So short term, I would expect some kind of a cool off here locally. Now, obviously, news can make things fly randomly, but this would be indicating potentially that you could cool off in the short term, especially once that 10 and 12 hour bear div starts to print, if it does. But the thing with this right now, guys, is money flow is still looking pretty good, and we're going to get to the reason why I think we can continue up here even if we do cool off first. But money flow is, a lot of times with these divergences, when they play out very well, when they play out a lot, or when they give you a really, really big move, a lot of the times, you'll get that bearish divergence, but you'll also have money flow coming out. I'm trying to find a good example here. There really isn't many, but we don't have that happening right now, right? We have a potential bearish divergence forming on a lot of these time frames, but money flow is coming up, so it may not be the strongest divergence, although it is likely to give you some kind of a move down. So keep that in mind. But guys, coming up to the daily here, this money flow looks pretty strong. You have somewhat of a fresh green dot here. This would be something else I would watch. This VWAP doesn't look very strong. I'd like to see this come up a little higher, or a little bit more straight up rather than just kind of like barely coming up. Money flow looking strong on the daily. Now, taking a look at the 2-day here, guys. Here's the thing. Again, not impossible to get these cool-offs, right? Because you don't have the bearish divergence here, but you are pretty overbought. And you are looking for a red dot on a lot of these higher time frames. Your 3-day looking for a red dot, your 2-day looking for a red dot, and then again, your daily not looking like the VWAP's coming up very high. So you want to be careful of that. With the bear divs and the red dots looking to print on the higher daily time frames, I think you could cool off. But look at this 2-day money flow, guys. Again, bullish news paired with money flow that looks like this on the 2-day could make for a very, very nice move. And when you're just looking at the volume profile alone, if you're not even paying attention to your indicators, you are expecting to eventually, even if you do wind up bing-bonging around, because you held the value area low as support, you are eventually expecting to potentially get up to that POC and then that value area high, which would be your second target coming in at point, however many zeros, 1342. So those are the top 2 price targets for SHIB as of right now, guys. But again, I would be careful of, just randomly longing these massive green candles, as well as being careful of the sell the event situation that we might run into. But just looking at the chart here, guys, I would say short-term cool-off, and then once this, red dot prints on the 2-day, this money flow comes up, I do think you could continue up here for SHIB, even if you get a cool-off back down to that value area low. As long as you remain above this key level at, 908, I would expect a move up to that point of control, and then potentially, eventually, right up to that value area high, coming in at 1340. So, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's premiere fake out live stream. I planned for this to be about 30 minutes. It's about 27 minutes, and it is right now 6 o'clock, which is after 5:45. So I'm going to have to get this up on YouTube, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick market update. I didn't want to leave you with zero content today, but I am excited, guys. Frankie the Funkle is going to meet his nephew for the very first time. I'm entering unclehood. I've never been an uncle before, guys, but I'm super hype. He's already got a bag of crypto, my man. But guys, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching. Don't forget, smash that like button because we will be adding all of the likes that we get from this video when I return to the wheel, and we will get all those spins in next week to add to another massive giveaway next week, because it's going to be a couple of weeks of giveaways all put into one. And with all that being said, guys, I'll see you next time. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy, DZ. That's all I got, guys. See you next time. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. I don't know what's going on, guys. Bing bong. Ah!
Where you from?
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to